Okay, we'll call the meeting to order and ask if there's a disclosure of interest. As there is none, I have a resolution adopting the agenda as amended. It's been moved and seconded with the additions of report 2024.135 for 144 Berry Drive South Garage supplemental report and report 2024.134 letter of support for rural communities immigration portal. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. We have no deputations this morning. We have a resolution moved and seconded to approve the minutes of June 11th, 2024. Were there any errors or omissions? It's page 12 to 22. All in favor of the minutes as presented? Opposed? It's been carried. Was there any discussion on any of the items in the minutes? Councillor Peacock?
Good morning and thank you. Just one question. Is there a reason why the Committee of Adjustment meeting was not online? Was there an issue with the system or?
Yes, it was recorded, so it can be posted online, but it was not, it wouldn't work that evening.
Okay. All righty. Anything else? Okay, we have a resolution moved and seconded in respect to recommending the following date and time for a public meeting for the subdivision, the Haveman subdivision in Kakabeka Falls. And the date suggested is July 16th at 5 p.m., which is the beginning of our council meeting. Any discussion on this? All in favor? Opposed? It's carried. We have a report in regards to Berry Drive, and that with the addition of the other report mentioned, the supplemental that's on your desk. And this is for information only. So is there any questions that you had in regards to this report? Any questions, Councillor Peacock?
Excuse me, but could we just go back one to the Haveman subdivision? I'm just wondering, is it possible that we change Martin Drive to Martin Lane for those properties? Because it's really going to mess up the fire numbers that are existing. And there is potential for that road to go back further and then further development, perhaps in the future. But just some consideration that portion of the 6 homes that they're adding to the subdivision or the hamlet area be changed to Martin Lane.
Well, that's something that can be brought up when the subdivision final papers come to
Okay.
Gary. This is just to begin. Yeah. Yeah, or change the name altogether. We'll
Yes.
see.
Yeah.
But that's something we can look at when it comes back to council.
Thank you for that.
Okay, so again, we now have the 144 Berry Drive, which is the South Garage. And we have 2 reports on that matter, and it was for our information. Is there anything that you would like to discuss or have questions on in regards to that report? Anything, Councillor Campoff?
So just to clarify, what is our final intent with this property?
So the 2-hectare lot that you can see in the image in your report gets severed off. And then we'll do a rezoning application to put it as light industrial, July 16th. And then it's my understanding that that lot would then be for sale.
Okay, and then there's chance even for as a municipality, if there was a decision to keep the garage for a purpose, it would be rezoned. It wouldn't be it wouldn't be the disposal industrial anymore. Yeah. So that's there. That option. Any more questions? No? Okay. Then we have a resolution's been moved and seconded in regards to the Coley vacant land condominium agreement. We have a report on page 30 to 34, and the resolution's been moved and seconded that to have an agreement to have you registered on title. The condominium agreement. Yes, Councillor Viss.
Yeah, just
Clarification, are we doing it because of racial changes some of the standards for septic and water systems?
No, these are specifically to satisfy conditions 7 and 8 that were given for draft approval of the condominium application. So this is just to make sure that anyone who lives on the property is notified before they purchase or rent that they're close to an industrial park and they're close to a racetrack and that they'll hear noise from time to time.
And I believe that was something that was requested from council. Yeah, and so this is. Any other questions? Again, the resolution's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. The next item is the awarding of the driveway paving at Alder Lane, and this is, I know I did call as well, but this is just to do the ends of the driveways when you put the new Alder Lane in. And so we're not doing anyone's complete driveway. When I read it, I kind of called right away. So the resolution's been moved and seconded. Is there any further questions? Councillor Peacock?
Thank you. Just wondering how many driveways we're looking at doing. Any idea?
So we did 10 altogether, including pipes and ditching, and these are the 5 that were paved by the previous owner
Mhm.
or the existing owner. So we have to restore what we disturbed.
Right.
And as well, I note that the capital budget was 72,500 for this project. And the tender came in at 13,900. Now it says that staff did the work. Will the staff time and materials, et cetera, be charged to that project?
Through the chair, we don't currently do that. The materials are definitely charged to the item, the culverts, the gravel that came out of the pits, and any other gravel we had to purchase to match the existing driveways, whether it was dolomite stone or whether it was wrap from our other vendors. But no, we do not currently charge public works staff or community services staff to specific contracts.
Will that be an option, perhaps for the treasurer, a question for him with the new program that we're getting?
That would be an option with the changes that we're making, plan changes we're making to the chart of accounts, as well as the new budgeting software as well. We can, if we choose to, set codes for different projects.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Again, the resolution's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And then we have a resolution recommending the awarding of the Morello flooring to Quality Carpet. It's been moved and seconded, this resolution. Were there any questions on this report? Councillor Peacock?
Thank you. I see the tender was for the hall and the entrance, storage, and 2 closets. So no kitchen, no washroom, no hallways being done?
The washrooms are included, the kitchen is not.
Okay, and will there be an issue changing the NOHFC grant to possibly include this project?
Through the chair, currently, we've been talking to NOHFC in this regard. They've agreed to the principle of the project. Once we get an award, which is today, we'll be discussing with NOHFC to get that money flowing for the specific project. And we have to schedule the 2-week shutdown. And it could be as late as, looking right now, it could be end of September before we get that 2-week window with the current bookings we have.
Right. Okay, and Councillor Biss?
Yeah, just for clarification, the flooring, are we just stripping it? We're not redoing the whole floor, are we?
Through the chair, we're stripping the existing out. And coinciding with the door and window tender that's currently out as well, that's been awarded to Langen, that this all has to be coordinated. So there's a 2-week window that we have to do everything there.
Okay. Any further questions? Again, the resolution's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. The next item we have is the resolution that's been moved and seconded in proposing the increase of rates at the Norwest Recreation Center. And of course, the Director of Operations is here. So if there's any questions on this resolution, it has been moved and seconded. Councillor Viss?
just a comment, I think this is a good thing to do because you see now that the amalgamate the whole rural and city together, so we have rural kids playing in town paying that many dollars and the other ones from the city coming out here paying less. So I think this is a real good idea to get it balanced out as those spots that all kids are opposed to the same cost to play hockey. So
Mhm.
I think that would be a real good plan to do this. Thanks for that.
Counselor Calvert?
And concerning the concession there, I look at the prices and proposed prices, and I'll just tell you an example, this onion rings, $4.50 now. If you go to the gardens, they're like $6, so we're still, and you get a lot more or less. So it's still a good deal.
Yeah, to that point, through the chair, we've been unfortunate that some of the vendors we used to purchase from have exited the supply for the facility.
Yes.
So now we're kind of single source to one specific vendor for that stuff. And secondary to that, when there is a single source vendor, the prices tend to go up. So we're trying our hardest to not have staff running back and forth to town to pick up stuff. So that's another trigger for that cost on those concession sales.
Mm.
Before we put an order in, it came in a truck, it was delivered. That person has exited that market. So we have additional cost. But yeah, you're absolutely correct. Even with the increase, we're still well under what things are going for.
Are we charging enough to cover all the expense?
Through the chair, there's been no real model in regards to what that concession should turn over. I think
Mhm.
we're yielding about 30%. If you take the staff out, or if you add the staff straight to concession, I don't believe we're making money. I don't think that was the intent of the facility. But overall in the operating and with all the revenue coming in, we're ahead of the game.
Right, okay. All righty, Counselor Peacock?
On page 40, it says, with regard to off-season floor space, administration is therefore asking authorization from council to set rates for these type of events. Do these rates not have to be part of a bylaw of some kind and set? Or can they be variable or?
It's all right for council to delegate authority to administration.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's done in a lot of municipalities, especially the large ones. They always do that, but here we want that kind of authority because things are so variable, what can be happening.
And then on page 42, it shows dog shows. Are we still allowing dog shows?
Page 42 was the copy of the Schedule A that existed in the previous
Mhm.
bylaw. We're
Mhm.
amending that to
Mhm.
show variable.
Okay. And I did have a couple of questions with regard to the concession. When was the last time that the prices were increased?
Through the chair, I've been looking after the rink for 7 years and I
Mm-hmm.
have never increased the price.
Okay. And do we have a Thunder Bay District Health Unit rating?
Through the chair, it's Class A, like the rest of our facilities.
Good show. And I note that in the budget from 2023, the revenue was $48,766, and yet the expenses were $26,690. I would presume that that is strictly for money in for the concession and money out for the expenditures for purchase, but is it working all right with the Interact machine that we have there? Are you finding that it's being used?
Through the chair, the Interact machine came on mid-season and there wasn't much take up at the beginning, but it's something that we're marketing starting this fall.
I did notice too that the sign was still up cash only. So, because a few people asked me that were sitting around, they didn't have cash. And I said, no, go there. I think they have a machine now. So they're starting to learn the machine is there. Of
And
course,
are-
the machine costs money too, to us, but
So are there vending machines for bottled water and pop and Gatorade, et cetera?
No, there is not. We got rid of all those because of supply issues and the facility that was housing those things became a point whether we were going to purchase a $3,000 machine or simply go across the desk.
So those items aren't on this list?
their drinks.
Through
must
the
be
chair, we
there.
sell everything across the desk through
Yes.
the concession.
Okay, I just didn't see them on the list of items. And what happens at year end for supplies? Like, hockey was over in March. What happens to the extra supplies that are left over?
End of April.
Through the chair, operationally, as the season winds down, the freezers are empty at the end of March and we buy specific to the walleye schedule.
Okay. That's good. Thank you.
Alrighty. Any more questions? Therefore, we have a resolution that's been moved in second to increase the proposed rates for the Norwest Rec Center. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. The second resolution, is that on the same page or is that a different? Separate. Okay, so we also have another resolution. It's been moved and seconded to increase the prices of the concession items at the Norwest Rec Center. I would suggest that they go on when September 1st, when they start using the arena. Yes, no, that would be is the council in agreement with that? Yes. That's when they start, so it should be included in the resolution.
You don't need to do that. The bylaw says it's effective today, so you don't need to write it in the
If it's
resolution.
effective today, then it's not open right now, so. Again, we have a resolution recommending the increases of the concession items at the Norwest Rec Center. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? It's carried. Then we have report 2024 to obtain our approval for the 2024 staff appreciation, which includes a luncheon at the Legion and a gift card, and also the Christmas party for the volunteer firefighters. Any discussion? It has been moved and seconded. Yes.
Thank you. I understand that it's important to acknowledge the staff, and last year when we had the event at the Legion, everybody just kind of came and went, and I think you had the opportunity to serve the
He was
staff.
there the whole time.
That's right. I just felt it was kind of like everybody came, had lunch, left. Like, I felt there should be some kind of acknowledgement or appreciation to the staff who came for the dinner or the luncheon rather. And could we have this maybe later in the year to avoid the summer holiday staff, off
We
for
did
some
it in
holiday?
September
In
last
September,
year.
yeah, okay. Another question I had was, what is the cost of a Visa card? Like when we, if we're purchasing, well, right now, looking through the directory, it would be 40 staff at least. So do we have any idea what the cost of an individual additional charge for the Visa card would be?
So the card is a face value card of $50, and then there is a $3.95 processing fee that is added on to $50.
And just a suggestion, perhaps we could maybe try the curling club when they're open again, and it's a smaller venue, and we, or either that, or maybe ask the staff if they would prefer a turkey or a ham or something. Just some thoughts rather than just say, Legion, here we go. So I'll leave it to anyone else for comment.
You were gone out, you were out of town last year. Yes. I mean, I found that, yes, people do sit in their familiar groups, but when we used to have the Saturday night wow thing in December or whatever at the Murillo, everybody sat with their own people because that's who they work with and that's who they have things in common with. The only thing this didn't have the spouses at, it was just the employees, and I thought that they enjoyed it. At least I got a lot of comments on the food, which I wasn't cooking, I was just serving. Otherwise, they might not have got the same comments. But I don't know, Counselor Viss?
Well, I don't remember a whole lot, but now that you said that, there was some of that thought, what people didn't kind of mix so much, or they were kind of an in and out thing, and that's about all I remember the thing. But now that you brought that up, I thought, I know Joan, or I discussed it, and I said, wait a minute, it's not what we like, or I think what it should be, it
Yeah.
should be kind of a joyful get together and stuff, and it seemed like they were coming and going, but just vaguely remember now that you brought that up.
Yeah, it was at lunch hour, it was their lunch. So
That's
they
what it
came for
was.
the hour and then they
Sure.
went back to work, and only half of each crew went because you still had to have, yeah. Yeah. It's entirely up to, yes.
Yeah, the issue is that the employees when it's during work hours, they will come. If
Mhm.
you have weekend events and stuff, you get less attendance. So
Yeah.
that's why one of the considerations for doing this type of model.
Try it again.
Yeah, I know, we got lots of comments on the food that we said it was good.
Try one more time the way it is, see how it works, to see, remember.
Okay.
Good, I'm in favor for that.
And the rest of the resolution as well, the gift card and the Christmas party for the volunteers, the fire department first response. And I think that our planner was looking for a date for this, were you?
For a few dates.
A few dates, sure. What day do you want to have? What date did we have it last year? Oh, it has to be a Thursday. Okay, because I was going to suggest Friday is not a good day because there's only one free Friday a month, so
And then we have the landfills open on
Right.
the other days, so Thursday.
Thursday. Okay. If you can give me a few dates, then I can verify with you if it's free. I think it is right now for September. Yes,
So last year. People were coming and going. They weren't able to all be there at the same time.
well, no, half the roads crew came and then half the office staff, because it was during the day. You couldn't close the office.
You could put up a sign and we're closed for the next 2 hours for
You
our
could,
staff appreciation afternoon or whatever.
you could.
I'm sure,
That's-
I'm sure the
that-
roads would
That is what
survive.
we did.
Oh, okay.
It was closed. The office was closed.
Yeah,
Were
but not
roads
everybody
crews
came at the
needed
same
out
time.
there continually.
I know.
Through the chair, the original intent of that was for a 12 to 2 window.
Yeah,
Okay.
And the tasks were assigned in the morning based on 12 to 2 windows. Some people got there 12:30, some people got 11:45.
Okay, all right, so, all right,
There's-
I thought it,
there's-
because I saw people come and go in that hour, so I thought, oh, maybe that.
But
they're-
definitely the 3 landfill people were not there because we were open.
Oh, well, don't do it on a landfill day.
That was one of the problems last year,
Yes.
but that's only 3 people.
That doesn't matter. They still deserve to
Ah.
come.
And yes, correct. But
Yeah.
you can't shut the landfill down.
No,
no,
no, I think people
No,
be more
you could-
upset over
a
that.
lot easier to shut down this office than the landfill
Well, and
for a little bit of time.
should go in the newsletter and a notice ahead of time so people don't complain because they come here. But it's fine, close them down from, I don't care, 11:30 till 2:30, 3 hours window. Yes,
They're looking at 12, 19, 26 or Thursday, so whatever. Leave that with just Thursday, so leave it with the staff, see what they can make, that, as far as I'm concerned, that gives them 3 Thursdays. But that'll be
Yeah.
the rest.
just put those down and then I will get back to you with it. I don't have my calendar here, I forgot it, with what date it is open. Thursday is a better day. I do have a cook already set up for it, and I will serve again. I get that big wage.
Here we go.
The cook is no longer there. He's living in Colombia. It's okay, we're surviving. Okay, is that all right? So that will be options. We will let you know as soon as we find out which it is. So again, we have the resolution in regards to the staff appreciation. Any more discussion? It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Then we have Bill, excuse me, a report on Bill 185 relating to changes in the Planning Act, Municipal Act, and Development Charges Act. We have a report as to the changes that are planned or thought of, and I guess our department, our planning department and our administration has come up with thoughts on some of those changes. And they'd like to submit them to the province. Councillor Viss?
Yeah, just a question for clarification on the Planning Act. The municipality can now invoke lapsing of subdivisions that have been draft approval since 1995. Where are we at the one then under this condition in Roslyn? Is that, where are we at with that thing?
The
Roslyn subdivision.
second Cooper Road one?
No, the end there, Hallows subdivision. Where are we? at?
Oh, well, it did lapse.
It's
We are-
lapsed, it's done.
Yeah, council has decided that if
So-
they wish to continue, they reapply.
Okay, that's right. Now I remember
But
that.
these
That's
are-
okay,
yeah.
good. Yes, okay. Thank you. That's right.
So any other changes that you had questions on or concerns, or they received royal assent on June the 6th, so
One further question, if I
Catherine.
may, it says under municipal act, bonuses for industries is permitted under certain conditions. What's the conditions?
We can certainly find that out.
All it said, I saw the changes, it says the minister may make regulations. And the idea is if some bonusing may assist with provincial objectives. So it's not sketched out at all what that means.
Yes, then we have to probably get provincial approval or something like that, or, no. Any other questions on it? No? Okay, so this was just for our information. The next item we have is also page 49 to 60, which is information on the agreements, insurance, and the indemnification policy for municipal property use. Yes,
Something I just wanted to highlight about the last item.
oh,
There is that line there. Now, where did it go? There's something about
the appeals,
the appeals. Yeah, that's the thing.
third one.
OPAs and zoning amendments, just the registered owner. So that will affect what happens in our municipality. The neighbors won't be able to appeal.
appeal.
So it's the same thing that happened with the subdivisions.
Mhm. So there will be no appeal except the owner of the land. Again, we are now at the agreements for insurance for indemnification policy that the administration is working on for use of our property and or buildings. Is there any questions? It has not been totally done yet. This is just a draft. Yes. That's okay.
So, just I read through it and so right now we don't have coverage for a lot of this stuff. Is that what, like, we're adding this as additional because we're concerned about being underinsured and.
Well, what the issue is that if there is an incident in one of our facilities, we will be bearing the entire brunt of whatever happens. So the idea here is to have the users have some insurance, and it also protects the users as well. If something happens, if as things play out, they may become personal liable if something were to occur, and so that's the idea, that the users should be covering their own matters.
Yeah, which I support that. The one thing that makes me a little bit cautious is getting advice from insurance companies about buying insurance because they're selling insurance. So
Mhm.
there's always a need for more insurance, it seems, when you talk to insurance companies.
That's correct.
Be overkilling this thing.
This thing, IPE, facility user solution, one aspect of it is that it's not attached to our policy. It's done throughout their client base, so that if there's something happens, whatever, it doesn't go in your claim history. So that's the one thing that's nice about it. But the one thing that council needs to consider, there's the 2 million or the 5 million liability. And the other thing that noted here is to ease the transition here to get users more accepting of it. Don't have anyone pay until January.
Councillor Calvert?
Do we have any examples? Could we just state who's this going to affect, like MMAA, or who's this going to actually?
Well, the Murillo Athletic Association, they already have their own insurance. So this, what the idea of this policy is that user insurance is only meant for people who can't get it. It doesn't make any sense. If I'm having a meeting there of my bridge club, I'm not going to be able to get insurance through my house insurance. That doesn't really add up. Or if I went to the broker and said, hey, I'm having a bridge meeting there and all that, they'd say, oh, that's $180. Well, if you go through this thing, maybe it's $2.50. So there you've got your coverage. This IPE solution. It's got nothing to do with organized leagues and all that. They won't cover that. It's those groups are expected to have their own insurance, which we should expect as well. The Amarillo Association, they have their own insurance. They get it through the Ontario Softball League. The Hockey Canada, they provide insurance to the minor hockey leagues. That's what should be happening with them. The sports car club that was at the park on June 7th, their organized group, they got their own insurance. Those
It's okay.
parties should be taking care of themselves. This is for our run-of-the-mill type of users who don't have access to insurance. And the $2 million liability based on our utilization figures would cost $5,700 a year. So it's not a huge amount of money that we'd be asking out of our user groups. If you look at that example, they've got on the $2 million liability, if I can find it again. I think it's on page. Yeah, page 58. You can see there they talk about yoga, which we have. And they say there's a group of people doing the yoga classes. The annual premium would be $190. So if you think, okay, there's 20 people going there, they're doing 26 sessions, each person has to come up with $10 or whatever it is. It's not a really huge burden on the people.
Councillor Peacock?
Thank you. I'm concerned that what's going to happen then is that our halls are not going to be used because they'll go to rural 60 or a church basement or something like that to use the facilities because they wouldn't be basically forced to get insurance. Whether the other places require it as well, I'm not sure, but I think we have lost a lot of meetings and things like that in our halls because they have gone elsewhere. And what happens with the library programming? Will they be affected by this?
The library would have to pay. Yes, they're having events there. And it makes it fair as well because the library is using our facilities without having to pay. It's funded by the municipality, whereas some other groups, they have to, other facilities, they have to put that on themselves. And other organizations such as the Rural 60 Plus, their insurance is in play when they have events there. So it's kind of like fair for everyone to have to pay for insurance. And I recall the mayor talking about some other places like Conme. They have this type of a system. You need to pay.
For years.
And I believe the director could tell me wants to speak about it, but I think the city has the same type of a system.
Yeah, through the chair, the city has the same sort of system in place, and the other one that comes to light recently is the quilters group that went to the OPHP. They had to get their own insurance to go onto the premises of OPHP, which is stand apart from us,
Mhm.
so to speak, and they had to get their own insurance policy for 200 quilters.
Sharp.
Well, you know, it just takes one person to trip and hurt themselves and it can be proven that that board was loose and we knew it. You know, they look at the municipality as the one with the deep pockets. So, Councillor Campoff?
So this is going to be a surcharge on top of the user fees that we're charging people already? Or are we going to try and bury it inside the user fee? But that's hard to do because some groups come with their own insurance and some don't, right?
Sure, it'd be on top.
Yeah.
So when the yoga people, whatever they pay for the year, their sessions, I don't know what it is, but what's our rates? $50 an hour or whatever. They're rather reasonable. Well, it'd be $53. So it's a little bit of an increase, but it's not substantial. $5,700 a year across the board, eh? And it was worth noting as well, some things in this insurance are not covered. And they are things that, we should be thinking about. For example, the alcohol type events, a lot of facility owners are shying away from alcohol events because of the liability associated with them. And this IPE thing will not provide this insurance to stags and things of that nature because they're known to be drunken events.
Mhm.
And you don't want to be involved with that. You don't want to have that in your facility. So we are going to be having that as a repercussion of this. When people want to have a stag in our place, they got to get insurance. And if they don't get insurance, then they're not having a stag in our facility.
So they might call it a quilting convention.
Yeah, the quilters might start drinking. That's possible.
Councillor Peacock?
Thank you. So this would then become part of the rental agreement that people would have to insure or prove that they have insurance prior to the event?
Yeah, that's right. In the policy, that's what it says, that we need to have agreements for anyone using our facilities, organized activities and events. There's got to be an agreement. Now, an agreement can be a form that you sign off, or it can be something that has to be tailor-made because you've got a specialized type thing like that quilter event. But there would be an insurance component right across the board. And the way that this works, there's a description about it, is that we would pay a deposit based on utilization to IPE. And then throughout the year, collect money, and then at the end of the year, it gets reconciled. If we had, if we issued insurance that was 5,000 and we had given 5,700, well, we got a $700 credit. But yeah, that would have to be taken care of with the agreement or put on the form. That's how that would work, yeah.
It's the sign of the times, eh? Things are that nowadays, so that's nothing.
I know personally that the Quebec Legion is reviewing all events from this point forward, including the cancellation of all weddings. Because the weddings that have been happening there are uncontrollable by the people behind the counter. And so we're just going to stop it. Because it's a liability. If someone gets hurt there or on the road, comes right back to the Legion. So it's unfortunate, but a couple bad events will, and we've had a few of them in Morello too, that can really be hurtful to the taxpayers of the municipality when the bill comes. Or heaven forbid, somebody gets killed. So. Any further questions on this? It's just for our information at this time, there's no completed policy. Yes.
Well, the policy is pretty well complete. It is,
Not a
we
resolution.
just got to get the policy in a final format. You'll see that this policy says 2 or 5 million. We're going to put 2 million in there. I think that's the
Okay.
feeling of council. Right. And I noticed we're looking at the policy. There's a couple of verbiage things that I need to change up. But the plan is to have this on July 16th, get through council along with that facility user insurance plan.
Okay, yes, Councillor Peacock?
Thank you. I think a lot of organized, whether it be yoga, that type of event, I think they already have booked in for the fall. Usually they try to secure their spots. So would this then come into effect for the September usage, or are we waiting till next year, or how does it work?
So through the chair, as Wayne mentioned, we're looking to absorb till January 1st and then roll this out. However, with the ice hockey agreements going out, there has already been a notation put on and now the rates are set that
Okay.
insurance issues are being discussed and you will have additional costs.
Yes, okay. Yeah, just telling any group, including the yoga group at this point in time, once the item has been completed, to give them a copy and say, well, as of January 1st, you have time to read this, there will be a charge.
Yeah, through the chair, that 2025 books for the halls haven't even started yet, so
Yeah.
it's the right time to do it. We have
Right.
bookings all for out this year, but
Mhm.
as of January 1st, Wayne's administration's keen on getting this rolled out.
Yes, I agree with them. Okay. The next item is 76, page 76 to 100, which is the Canada Community Building Fund Agreement of 2024 to 34.
Skipped,
No,
I'm sorry.
6,000.
Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped that one. I apologize. The next one is the Administrative Penalty Bylaw Progress Update, page 61 to 75. And there is no resolution. It's for information. This is in regards, I believe, to the racing season, racetrack. Any questions of administration on this? Yes.
I just wanted to comment, as noted on page 62, in closed session, we need to talk about the recruitment of screening officers and hearing officers. As well, we have to talk about the penalties that we will put into the final bylaw. We have legal advice on those matters.
Yes, Councillor Peacock?
Thank you. Page 72, number D, letter D rather. It says that the person shall pay the municipality a late fee. Do we have a late fee set, or is that 1.25% or?
Yes, that was already been suggested there on page 75, what those things would be. The late payment fee is the same as what we have on our other accounts. And if you had to attend a screening and you didn't come, you'd have to pay $100.
It's unfortunate that we have to resort to this, that's all.
Yes.
Yes, as discussed though in the preamble to this report, we did have issues with the end times being overshot. So we need to have something in place. Council wanted to have something to encourage compliance. So that's what the idea is behind this, and I don't know at this time. We'll see how this all works out. But we may be able to use this kind of a mechanism for other bylaw non-compliance we have.
Councillor Viss?
well, coming back to Councillor Peacock's remarks, it's sad that we have to go to this kind of an extent. I think it's a good thing to do. The reason I'm saying that, when people complain to me and I say the hours are such and such, and as long as you're within those hours, I fully support it. I agree with you. If you go over hours, then we need to do something, and people have to understand that. So I think this is the way we need to go. So I think it's a good thing. They're starting to understand there now, because you get too many complaints when they run over hours. So I think this will really help it down. I really do. So.
And
Councillor Calvert?
I say that too. Now we do have something to give an answer to when they go over, say, well, we have this in place now. Here's what's gonna happen. Before we had nothing. Now we do have something.
Okay, any further discussion? Sorry, Wayne?
Trying to comment, there's some technical things that have to get done as well. We have to get the camera and the microphone rigged up and see how that will work out. And so Director of Operations is working on that.
Okay, anything further? No, all righty. The next item is the Canada Community Building Fund Agreement of 2024 to 34. Starts on page 76. And it has a resolution that has been moved and seconded, recommending that the agreement between the fund and Olive Rapunj be approved. Any questions on this agreement? You didn't. Wayne, would you like to speak on it?
I just wanted to comment that this is not something new. They've repackaged the federal gas tax. So some people might think, oh boy, we're getting another pot of money. It's just calling yesterday's lunch today's lunch kind of thing.
Calling brunch today. It was lunch yesterday. Councillor Peacock?
I see it also includes a portion, page 84, with regard to asset management. I'm pleased that we have ours in process, but just wondering what's going to happen with other municipalities who don't have their asset management done.
We've never had a complete answer from any government, so we only deal with the provincial government and we don't get gas tax money from them, so. Okay, any further questions? We have a resolution that's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. The next item is the 2024 Canada Day ad in the Chronicle Journal. There is a resolution recommending that we put a report in the Chronicle Journal at an estimated cost of $200. Yes.
There's been a development in this. I was contacted by the manager of the Chronicle Journal advertising. There was some miscommunication there between the staff and I. They gave me the wrong information. The paper was supposed to be done yesterday, so we cannot put an ad in. And I mentioned to the manager that if you need a decision of council, like representation of the municipality and newspaper, that's a council matter. You need to get a hold of us like a month ahead of time. Everyone knows when Canada Day is coming, so just put it
That's right.
in your notebook to get a hold of us early.
Okay, so this item is not required and this resolution does not have to be voted on.
Just. Not concerned.
Yes.
Just to go back, I'm sorry for eligible investments from our last discussion that we had. I just see that on page 92, fire hose is one of them. So perhaps that might be something we may want to look at as for eligible investment categories for the community building fund.
The gas tax money is used. It's decided when we do budget. Normally, it can be applied to many things.
Okay.
Okay, again, for Canada Day Act ad, we don't have to look at that. Then we have the additional item of a letter of support for the rural communities immigration pilot, which was on your desk. And when we have a resolution that's been moved and seconded in regards to that, and Pat, did you wanted to comment on it because it wasn't in the package?
Yeah, so people are just maybe seeing it now. This pilot program was in another name 5 years ago and the council supported it at the time. And the gist of it is to try to fill labor market gaps with foreign workers, and under certain conditions, they're able to get permanent residency if they have a job and put in a few years and so forth. There's all kinds of rules with Immigration Canada, but that's the idea behind it. And I went on the website of the CEDC and also this Immigration Canada just to see what's happening. And they don't have any statistics about what's going on in this area. I don't know how well this is subscribed, if at all, here, but it's not costing us anything to support it.
Any discussion? The resolution has been moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And then we have reports of committees, the library report, the district health unit minutes. We have bylaws. The first one is the municipal funding agreement for the Canada Community Building Fund. This bylaw has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. We then have the bylaw on the Coley condominium, the notification agreement. And it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And the Norwest Recreation rental rate and concession increases by law. It has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And we have some action items, the request to resume the assessment cycle. I believe we have a resolution here that has been moved and seconded, asking the government to resume the assessment cycle. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. I'm not too much in favor of that one, but whatever. The rural affordability of water and wastewater systems, we did have that at our last meeting and we're asked to put forth a resolution. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. We then have a Community School Alliance request for calls of nomination. It's on page 122 and 128. If anyone on council is interested in becoming part of that board. I was initially on it when it first started, I think for 2 or 3 years. And then I think Meebing had someone on there and a few of the municipalities have had someone on, but they are looking for nominations.
Just wanted to add that there's, not too long ago, a teacher on the Shunya Council went on to it. So we do have some local representation on that.
Well, if anyone else is interested in letting their name stand, we can do that. I don't see anyone, so we'll go next to the next one was household food insecurity. No paid plasma zone. No paid plasma zone and assessment retirement obligation, the OPP funding and sustainability, the Aggregate Resources Act and supporting policy. I was going to ask the Director of Operations if there was any comment on that. On page 139.
Through the chair, no comment, but we have reached out to, we're waiting. We should have it any time for our completed application of the expansion that started in 2020.
Oh, so has it moved from one desk to the other? It's getting closer.
I was just gonna say, that was one of the questions we were gonna ask at NOMA, which we never got to ask, was concerning that.
Yeah, so I'm glad it's moved. It's moving
Something's
closer to
going
the door. Good, thank you. And then the Rural Heritage Agricultural Society, that is looking for support in advertising their program booklet, and I believe we did do it last year. Have you got a resolution?
Yeah.
Yes. It's been moved and seconded to put a full page black and white in the amount of $150. This resolution has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. For information only is the Thunder Bay District Municipal League minutes and the Thunder Bay Police Services, the shift publication. We also have one from NOMA providing copies of their meetings and a letter and information on past resolutions and time to grow. I was interested in the publication Time to Grow, and I did ask Judy if I could have, they could make a copy for me. Is anyone interested in either one of those copies from the NOMA report? We're just kind of interested in what they're reading for Northwestern Ontario. All right, new business. Councillor Kempoff. None? Nothing? Councillor Peacock?
Thank you. Just a couple of questions. With regard to ditching material, do we still keep a list in the municipal office for people who can call in if they want ditching material that has come, was we're cleaning the ditches out? We often offered it to residents and nearby. I'm just wondering if we keep that list still.
Yes.
Okay. I had a question from a resident with regard to the expansion of natural gas along Highway 1117 near McFarland Road. They're still without and
That's right. Yeah.
nothing further.
No, we've contacted us, even the last time that they came here for a meeting, Alan brought it up in regards to the list of people on that road. They all had agreed to pay their thing for it and it's still not done. And yet other places have been done. So it's their program. I don't know why. It's slow. Yes.
And have we had or have we heard of any events that require the special events bylaw to be enforced? So that won't happen for the musical ride or the RCMP ride or anything like that. Just we put a lot of time and effort, yourself included, Wayne, for this and it's just kind of.
That's right, it wouldn't
Colin.
apply to them. We made it very specific to certain types of events and
Mhm.
we haven't had recurrences.
Okay. for the July 16th meeting, will we have the tax rate bylaw available for approval? Before the taxes go out?
We approved the tax.
Yes, we did, didn't we?
But I didn't see the bylaw that has, for individual,
I thought the
these-
schedule was attached.
I
Laura,
think
do
so
you have
too. I think for different classes. Yeah,
Yeah, I thought we
remember
did that
seeing
one
that.
already. Well, we'll have to check.
okay.
well, I'll have to check. I thought we did do it as well.
And did Public Works have an opportunity to put the unmaintained road sign back up on Boundary?
Through the chair, no.
When that opportunity arises, will it go on both ends as well as Little Norway?
We can look into that.
Okay, and that'll be good for now. Thank you.
Okay, Counselor Biss?
Just to follow up on that natural gas request you had and Council Campbell said because it's low rate, but there was 35 people that signed up. It's probably the easiest place to put a gas line in our municipality. It's all sand. And they used that excuse of the railroad track. And I said, well, then go from Stanley because it's in Stanley and it goes right up to the highway. So it's only 5 kilometers. There was 35 people at that time signed. And we gave them that document where they all signed, and I didn't keep a copy because then they said at the next meeting they didn't have it. And you see, that teaches you one thing. If you have something like that, make sure you keep a copy. And I'm so sorry I didn't have that copy because I could have said, here you guys are. But I still can't believe why they will not put them on that 5-kilometer stretch. That's all.
It was not too long ago, within the last couple of years, that there was a person asking questions about the natural gas expansion. We had a lot of dialogue with the Enbridge officials and so forth, and it's a matter of the cost and various issues. That's why Enbridge is not moving on it. If the provincial government were to supply funding to make it viable, like the provincial government supplied funding to make high-speed internet throughout the municipality viable, we'd be talking something different, but that's not happening. So at the July 16th meeting, I intend to bring to council some information, including a support letter for Enbridge's application right now at the OEB to try to push forward more natural gas expansion. They're running into a lot of obstacles with groups that are against natural gas. So we'll do our part to support it as we have in the past.
If I may just come back to that, and the reason it upsets me somewhat, Mackey Road and John Street, there may be 2 houses in a kilometer on John Street, and not very many more on Mackey, and yet the most difficult place to put a line through all those rocks, and it's there. So if I hear Wayne correctly, you're saying those people have to pay, well, they'd have to pay thousands of dollars to get it there then. It just doesn't make sense in my mind, okay? That's all. I'm not arguing with you. I'm just pointing out a point where usually digging this, they don't, and yet they go there. So what's happening here? Political?
Yes.
No, I'm trying to get expansion done. To property that I own and then moving along. All right. Yeah, possible.
4 years for a street light.
Yeah. But everything would look like it was gonna go ahead and then it's all just stopped. So I don't.
Okay. Just, I just wanted to prolong the thing, but I just some points that it bothered me. Why not? There's no answers.
Counselor Peacock?
Sorry, I just had one other thing to add, and that was thank you to the Public Works Department with regard to that freak storm that went through. They spent quite a bit of time clearing down trees because that was pretty wild wind.
Righty, and I'm sorry, Councillor Calvert,
Sure.
I almost forgot you.
That's good. Congratulations to WWE Wind Up Weekend, very successful, and the grounds crew of Chris and his crew, Public Works. The way they handled all the diamonds and that were so well done, and like it was mentioned earlier about the parking, how that was arranged for everything that went on Saturday. Very well organized. I traveled last Saturday down to Dorian for the municipal league, and we had a tour of the Greenwich wind farm. And it was very interesting, to say the least. Yeah, 43, and they have an expansion going up to 70 some. Very, very impressive. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's very good.
Through the chair, just to Councillor Calvert's point, MMA, they bring a big game to the table for that weekend. We support them to the best of our, we basically exit on Thursday. We've done our part. We make sure that they get their picnic tables and all that stuff. But as of Friday, there is a small army of volunteers there getting that place to final touches. So I think they deserve some credit as well. Thank you.
Perfect. Yes, they've always been very committed to their community, that organization. Anything further? No? Anything from fire department, finance, operations? Anything new? Nope. Okay, I'll stay out of Kekabeka. The planning, nothing and nothing. Okay, all righty. So we have a resolution moved in second to resolve into closed session, the time being 10:01 a.m. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. So we will go out. Usually we have the time down there, but We have a resolution moved in second to reconvene the council meeting at 10:48 AM. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. We have the minutes of the closed session meeting held on June the 11th. Now we have a resolution that's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? It's carried. We also have a change to a resolution that we passed earlier in the evening. There has been a change to the date.
I'll explain what has transpired here. We did have a resolution 226-2024 to have a public meeting on the subdivision in Kekapeka Falls, Dave Haveman, for July 16 at 5. We won't be able to do that due to problems with getting notifications out on time. So we want to amend that to August 6th meeting, I believe it is, we're having at 5 p.m. And the movers and seconders was Alan Biss and Dan Calvert. So if those two gentlemen are okay with that change, we'll make it August 6th at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will ask for a vote. It hasn't been amended and the mover and seconder are agreeable to it.
We could just do a friendly amendment instead of doing it.
Okay,
Friendly amendment?
friendly amendment, yeah.
Yes,
They agreed to it, so.
then we need to vote as well, right? On the
Yeah.
amendment? Yes, so all in favor of this amendment to that resolution? Opposed? It's been carried. We now have a resolution that's been moved in second, confirming the meeting that we've had this morning. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And we adjourn the meeting at 10:50 AM. All in favor? Opposed? Carried.